Hey there, true crime friends. Listen, I was about to go to bed and I was like, wait, I have not recorded a lunchtime true crime for tomorrow. So I had to pull my act together and whip out a quick lunchtime true crime. But then I found one over the weekend and I was like, let me go revisit and take a few notes and I can whip this right out. Okay, oh, I hope these dogs don't start barking. But look, you know what you got to do. You got here, hit the like button, settle on in with your fork and your salad and whatever. I imagine people eat other things aside from salad, but I eat salad pretty much constantly because it's kind of my favorite food with lots of protein and a good dressing, whatever. Anyway, get your salad, get whatever you're going to have for lunch, get your crock pot, your hot pocket, whatever you eat, hit the like button, stop barking, because listen, I don't have time for all that today. I have to tell you this story. Now, here's the thing. This one I found on 48 Hours, right? The 48 Hours podcast. But 48 Hours de-emphasizes the names of the people. They just keep saying she and he. So I was like, now I got to dig back through and listen to this thing 3 times trying to find these people's names. But the story is fascinating. Ladies, okay, here comes Holly. Come here, hi. Come here. Okay, so look. This is a story about how a tree solved a crime. And I was like, a tree? You say yes, a tree. Look, here she is. I'm not one of them people who let their dog kiss them in the mouth. I just kiss near her. See? General vicinity, near miss and sound effects. So anyway, look, this lady, Mengqi, she's a Chinese American immigrant, right? She's born during China's one child policy, but her parents were like, she's such a great daughter. We only wanted that one child, so we were good with just hers. As my dogs try and destroy each other, I should have been good with just one dog. So anyway, she gets into like the University of Beijing or whatever, and she's doing real good over there. And then she comes to the United States and she finishes her undergrad. Then she goes on for her bachelor. She finishes her bachelor's here and then goes on for her master's and something else. She's like an electrical engineer, so she's like super smart. One of my kids is studying that. So anyway. So she goes on and gets a really good job. And she meets a dude on the job. Well, she's super smart. So, of course, she's the boss. But she's dating one of her underlings. But it's love, and they love each other, and everything is terrific. And I'm like, that's so cute. I love a love story. So they're going right along. But she's like, listen, my student visa has run out. I'm not sure what the visa is called for when you're working. But, like, she wasn't sure how that was going to work out. And her boyfriend was like, me and you should get married. But here's the thing. Apparently, now we should know this from 90 Day Fiance, but I had not thought about it. When you're a person who's in this country, like whether it's for school, for work, for whatever reason, there's a certain amount of pressure of like, I love my job, I'm making a lot of money, I've made a good life here for myself, but I might have to like leave everything and go back to my country. And it's good in my country. I love my parents and everything. But if this nice young man marries me, then I can stay in the country. Also, he can hold that over my head. So it creates this unbalanced power dynamic. Well, listen, Miss Mengqi was making bank. They get married. She's like, okay, everything is cool. And he's like, you know what I'm going to do now? I'm going to stop working. And she's like, great, go on back to school, do what you're going to do. I'm making enough money for the two of us. Then she gets pregnant and has a baby. So nice. In China, the tradition is that your mom and them come over to your house for the first 100 days and help you take care of the baby. So it's like, okay, taking care of the baby, everything is going good. And then her husband, Joe Ellich. Joe Ellich. He was only 23 years old. She was 28. But every time they got into fights, he was like, oh, I should just send you back to your country. Now, what you're not going to do is threaten me. That's one thing. Baby, I will take this child and I will take my good Chinese dumpling recipe and I will go back to China because you and the threats are not a thing. But that's not where she was coming from. She was like, look, I'm trying to raise my child here. I'm trying to make a good life here. Everything is going good. I just got a few more months and I can like get my final papers and I can divorce his behind. Also, she had a little thing on the side. Good for her. If he wasn't doing you right and you need to get you a thing on the side, sometimes you need you an emergency thing on the side. Now, do I condone having affairs and cheating? Absolutely not. Unless it's really necessary. And the girl, do what you got to do. So she was doing what she got to do. And she had this side dude. So I'm like, okay, Miss Thing. But he was like in China or whatever. So it's not like, it wasn't a physical affair. It was a very emotional affair. She's emailing him back and forth. Well, the husband finds out. And he is raising Cain, right? And he's threatening her. And then he's recording it on his phone, all Johnny Depp and Amber Heard style. And so he's just like, you're having an affair and blah, blah, blah. And his messages were like, not nice, but not horrible either, right? But he recorded himself not being that bad. And then one night he calls the police and he was like, she's missing. Y'all might want to come and take a look around. And they were like, wait, she's a new mother. How's a new mother? Okay, by the time her baby was like a year old by then, but still, that's still a very young child. He was like, I don't know where she went. She was having an affair with some dude. I think they ran off. And the cops were like, can we have her phone? And he was like, yeah, sure. Take her phone. Well, you know the cops. They use Celebrate. They downloaded the phone. They got all the information. They found all the recordings that he had, and then they found some recordings that she has secretly made that he didn't know about, where he's screaming at her, cussing at her, threatening to kill her. They're looking at Joe like, Joe, you seem to have left out the part where you was threatening her life and threatening to deport her. He was like, marital disagreements. Did you see that she was sending sexy naked pictures to another dude who was in China? And they were like, yeah, but now she missing. So what you got to say? And he's like, nothing. They said, where were you the night she went missing? He was like, no place. I just sitting here in my house. I decided to give her a massage. She had a nice massage. She fell asleep. And then I was like, oh, I'm not going to wake her up. So I take my baby, my 1-year-old, and we just went on like a long leisurely drive around the local area. Suspicious, because I believe humans do not belong in the woods. He was out there in the woods near the forest and a lake and a pond and some trees or whatever. And I was like, okay, something about him. So the cops did all this searching and all this looking, but they couldn't find anything. And they were like, we're going to do a little bit more deep investigation. We suspect him deeply, but we have no evidence. And he was like, you can look wherever you want. I think she went back to China. They were like, we checked Uber and we don't see nothing. And he was like, I don't know. Maybe she walked to the airport. Maybe she ran off with another man. I'm going to sit here and collect all of her money from her paycheck that's still coming in. And I'm going to raise my 1-year-old child. And I'm not going to be bothered with her. Please and thank you. And that is the end. The cops were like, okay, we're going to take some things from your house, though. Okay. And he was like, sure. Take whatever you like. So they collected some little things, her phone, an old pair of boots of his that had some mud on it and whatever. And then time goes by. Cops have nothing. Well, Joe is over here living his best life. He's being a jerk, probably to the American women, just living his life. And then one day, some person, for God knows what reason, is walking through the woods and they see something shiny. They're like, oh, what is that? Maybe they were using like a metal detector. Maybe they just used their eyeballs. I don't know. But they went and they pulled on it and they were like, oh, what is this? A boot? A coat? A hat? What's going on? How did they find a body? That's why I don't walk in the woods. That's why nobody should be walking in the woods, because you might find a body in the woods. Every time I go on a nature walk, and by a nature walk, I mean I walk through the park on a very paved path. Every time I see a bag, every time I see just like some bushes that are all rolled up into a bundle, I'm like, dead body. I'm going to keep walking because, I mind my business. But obviously, that is a dead body. Now, I will take a picture of it on my phone in case I need evidence later. But I'm like, see, dead body. That's why I don't even belong in the park over here. But anyway, so this person finds a dead body like you do. And they were like, hey, officer friendly. Yeah. Dead body over here. So the cops come out and they're looking around and they're like, oh, what was her name? This is Mengqi. Here is her body. What's her remains, her skull and whatever, some bones. They did the DNA test and he was like, yeah, maybe she went for a walk and she tripped and fell. I don't know. So they do the autopsy and they were like, she has 4 broken ribs and we can't tell otherwise how she died, but clearly blunt force trauma and her body is all in pieces, probably animal predation, because we've read about animal predation, the animals that carry you far and wide. And he was like, yeah, what you want from me? And they were like, how can we solve this case? So they're looking all around. They're like, well, what did we take out of the house? Wait, remember we took her phone? Yeah, her phone's not giving us any information. Let's take his phone and see where it says he went. He went somewhere near these woods. What else do we have? Oh, we had those old muddy boots of his. Let's take a look at these boots. Oh, there are 4 pine needles stuck in the mud in the soles of his shoes. Now, enough time had gone by that his footprints were not there in the mud, but those 4 pine needles were stuck in the bottom of his boots. They were like, okay, if we can put this man in this location, then we can get him for murder. So they were like, okay, we're going to go out here with some tree science people and we're going to look at all the trees and look around. And the tree science people were like, oh, we could run a DNA test on these trees. We're going to run a DNA test on those pine needles from his boots. And then we're going to climb up way to the top of the tree and get some of its needles and run DNA tests and make sure that those needles are from this tree. And that puts him right in this location, the tree near where her body was found. And so the scientists are like, okay, yeah, DNA in trees is just like DNA in people. Them trees was like Is he burying a body? Shake some needles down on him. Oh, we gonna hold on to some extra ones so he can get caught. First of all, Ring Doorbell was out here solving crimes. Y'all, now trees are solving crime. Okay, I guess technically science is solving crimes, but trees are helping. Mother Nature is friendly. Not to me, because Mother Nature, I think, really does not like me, as evidenced by the aforementioned bug bites. So anyway, and other natural things that I'm not trying to mess with. So they do the DNA on the trees, and they're like, you know what? The DNA from way up high in this tree, we didn't take the needles off the ground. Oh, no. We went way up to the top of the tree with like an extension pole or something. I don't know how they did it, but I know they did it because they recorded it and everything. And they got some needles from the top of the tree, and they ran a DNA test on them, and they compared them with the needles that were in his boots, and it's a match. The tree people, the arborists, whatever they call, were like, we got him. We got the evidence. We got the goods. So they go back to court and they're like, hey, Joe, yeah, we ran a DNA test. And he was like, on what? Because I cleaned very well with both peroxide and bleach. I don't know what you're talking about. And they were like, oh, boo-boo, the trees have turned you in. And he was like, what? The trees? What? Trees are out here solving crimes, and I, for one, am here for it. So Joe goes to court. He's like, let's see, let me explain to you what happened. See, so what happened was she was very tired, and she laid down, and I was giving her a massage. Yeah, a massage. And then we got into an argument, and I pushed her, and she fell and she bumped her head, but she was not unconscious. And then she went and she laid in the bed and she fell asleep. And then the next morning she was dead. And so I was like, ooh, what am I going to do? My wife is dead. Did I call 911? No, I did not. I took her out to the forest and I buried her. They're like, right. Cool story, bro. Quick question though. How did she end up with 4 broken ribs? He was like, naturally. They just broke on their own, possibly when I punched her or kicked her or pushed her. I don't know. I think that her boyfriend from China broke the ribs. And the jury was like, right. Okay. Y'all don't even have to leave the room. You know how it goes sometimes. The jury just leans over like, you guilty? Yeah, we get. Okay. So, he's guilty and he go to jail. And so I believe he got LWAP'd. I don't know. I don't even know that 48 hours went into it. Now listen, I like 48 hours in their crime, but they focus a lot on the crime and not so much on the people and all the facts and the details. But I got enough facts and details to know that them trees solved that crime. And I'm like, okay, criminals, things you need to know. You need to get WhatsApp on your phone. Ring doorbells out here solving crimes, and trees will rat you out. Trees are snitches. And you can try and give them snitches stitches, but there's an excellent chance you're not going to be able to fight a tree. I'm just letting you know. Go on, punch a tree. See what happened. You punch somebody, you punch a human, you might have a fighting chance. Even if it's a big dude, you maybe might have a fighting chance. You punch a tree, that's not going to go good for you. I'm telling you right now. So, in addition to all the iPhones watching you and all the cameras on the highways or whatever, the trees are also watching you. Also, God, but whatever. I'm just saying, you better watch yourself out there. Now, listen. Lastly, but certainly not least, Hawaii is on fire. And Maui. I suspect that Lori Vallow Daybell set Maui on fire. Merely speculation, but I believe she's mad that she got convicted, so she set Maui on fire as her vengeance. And even if she didn't, I'm sure she is telling herself that she did. And then also out there in California is having earthquakes and a tornado, a flood, some sort of water event. Now listen, my grandmother would tell you, we in our last days, baby. We in our last day. Because every time anything happened, that was all the proof she needed. Remember when Janet Jackson's nipple came out at the Super Bowl? She was like, see? That's all the sign we needed. We in our last day. Oh, no, that wasn't my grandmother, because my grandmother wasn't even alive back then. That was my great aunt, my husband's auntie. Honey, that nipple came out, and she was convinced that was a sign that Jesus was coming. I was like, oh, Jesus is sending us nipple signals now? Okay, all right. I would think that Jesus could communicate a little bit more clearly than through Janet Jackson's nipple. But what do I know? I am not a biblical scholar. Maybe that's in Revelation someplace. Lo unto thee, the nipple shall be whipped out at the Super Bowl. Child, I don't know. Anyway, all of that to say, Keep a good thought for our friends in California and our friends in Hawaii, but not for Lori Vallow Daybell. We not keeping a good thought for her at all. We're going to send up a prayer to the Golden Girls that all of our friends over there in California, that they stay safe, they stay dry, and that the earth doesn't rattle too much underneath them, because nobody need the earth. You don't need the earth moving under your feet. Only if you like dancing real hard and the floor shakes, that's a good earth removing under your feet. But you just minding your business and an earthquake come through. No, ma'am. We not about that earthquake life. Okay. Y'all have a good rest of your day, and I will see you soon. Bye.